Yeah, cognitive dissonance and Jehovah's Witnesses. What is cognitive dissonance? Cognitive dissonance is when our belief system in our brain, whatever you believe in, when it's challenged with new information and the brain repulses against new information. If you have long-held religious beliefs that are very dear to you, when those religious beliefs are challenged, people can repulse from new information that's challenging them, even if the information is true, and your beliefs may not be true. Now, I'll give you an example. In the year 1610, there was an Italian astronomer called Galileo, and he discovered that the Earth moves around the sun. Now, we know that as a fact today, the Earth moves around the sun, but the Catholic Church wanted to burn Galileo at the stake as a heretic because he said the Earth travels around the sun. The Church says the Bible says the sun rises, the sun sets, the sun has flashed forth. The Bible says the sun moves around the Earth, not the Earth moving around the sun. So he had to recant, it means to apologise to the Catholic Church, and he wasn't burned at the stake, but he was put under house arrest till the day he died in 1642. Now, what happened? So when religious people or anyone who has a long-held belief in whatever, when you present them with information, they back off and are threatening their belief. So that is what cognitive dissonance is. I remember when I first started watching apostate videos, I thought, no, they're lies. They're lies. No, that's not true. That's not true. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. No, that can't be true. They're apostates. They're liars. And then now I know that the apostates were telling the truth. It's a little bit like when you're presented with the sad news that your loved one has died. It can't be true. It can't be true. They're alive. You repulse from the thought, they're not dead. You're lying. No, it's not true. It's not true. So your brain repulses against information that presented to it that it doesn't like. But so how do we get through to Jehovah's Witnesses that the apostates are telling the truth about the organisation? They have the old literature, the old bound volumes, the old literature going back to the 1870s. And the only way we can help Jehovah's Witnesses with cognitive dissonance is if you buy yourself a Stephen Lett mask. Buy yourself a Stephen Lett mask and get a JW Broadcasting background and go, hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to JW Broadcasting. We have new light. For a number of years, the governing body, the faithful and discreet slave, taught that shunning a dissociated person was the right thing to do by the Bible. And now we have new light, saying if somebody wants to leave Jehovah's Witnesses, you don't have to shun them. If they're living a good moral life and they're being a good person, but if they no longer want to be a Jehovah's Witness, we no longer have to shun them. So you don't have to shun them anymore. And so if that happened, I'm sure every Jehovah's Witness would clap with joy, because that would mean all dissociated people who just left, like they just don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore. They're not practicing sin or being bad or anything. They would believe Stephen Lett, and they wouldn't have cognitive dissonance, because Jehovah's Witnesses believe that Stephen Lett, Gerard Lose, David Splain, Mark Sanderson, Samuel Hurd, Jeffrey Jackson and Tony Morris are God's channel of communication, that they are the faithful and discreet slave, And the new light, the new information that they're giving you, the domestics, the good-for-nothing slave you are, you're the domestics. This food that the Stephen Lett is giving you is straight from Jehovah God. You're going to believe it. So you won't have cognitive dissonance because you believe every word that comes out of Stephen Lett's mouth is Jehovah's own words, the new light. And a lot of when I first started watching apostate videos, I came to realise that the new light that they're presenting was based on Proverbs chapter 3:18, or 18:3? 18:3 or 3:18. It says the path of the righteous one is getting brighter and brighter. Yeah, but that's just talking about the path of a righteous person is getting brighter. If you're a righteous person, you're a good light to others and you go on a good pathway. But the path of the wicked is in darkness. So basically, the new light that the governing body gives you is new information, this new light that they give you. And you Jehovah's Witnesses, you believe it without a doubt because it's coming from Stephen Lett's. If I put a Stephen Lett mask on in a JW broadcasting, you'd believe me. But you don't believe me because I'm an apostate. So the Watchtower says apostate lies, apostates are telling league with the devil, apostates have turned against Jehovah, apostates are enemies of Jehovah's Witnesses. We're not. We love Jehovah's Witnesses. We haven't turned our back on Jehovah's Witnesses. The reason why I make these videos is to help Jehovah's Witnesses. And when I first started watching apostate videos, I was shocked. Like oh no, it can't be true. The new light that the governing body gives you, the faithful and discreet slave, may be old light in a couple of years. And the new light that they give you, they call that light, but in a few years it may be old light. So all the doctrines of Jehovah's Witnesses over the years supposed to come from Jehovah God. Oh no, I gave you false information. I gave you phony information. Would Jesus ever do that? I gave you false information. I'll give you the real information now. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. So that's all I want to say about cognitive dissonance and Jehovah's Witnesses. So if it's Stephen Lett speaking, for years the governing body, the faithful and discreet slave, we taught that if you dissociated, you would be shunned. And now we have new light. If you dissociate, you will not be shunned. If you don't want to become a Jehovah's Witness anymore, for your conscience, you may leave and keep your family and keep your friends. And if they want to shun you, it's up to them. You're free to shun anyone you want, but you don't have to shun them if you don't want to shun them. But I don't think Jehovah's Witnesses will ever get rid of the shunning policy unless the government threatens to take their tax exemption status away. If the Australian government said, we're going to take your tax exemption off you, your charity status, unless you stop the shunning. And if you stop the shunning, you can be tax-free, you can be a charity. But if you're not going to stop the shunning, we'll take your tax exemption status away and your charity status. So that's all I want to say. And I'm sure they would, because the governing body would say, we don't care about the brothers and sisters, just don't touch the money. Please don't touch the money. We don't touch the brothers and sisters all you want. You can touch the brothers and sisters, but don't touch the money, because the money's ours. Our kingdom halls are ours. We own all the kingdom halls, even though you faithful, you domestic slaves built the kingdom halls.
You built the kingdom halls, but they belong to the faithful and discreet slave, because we're Jehovah's mates, and you're just good-for-nothing slaves."
So that's enough, and by then